what's up? I'm Sabrina Black with PacificSource, and today we're getting cozy and making some soup. One of the things that I love about soup in the winter is that it warms me from the inside out. And since dark winter days feel so much shorter, I'm going to share some tips for soup success. These tips will make mealtime a little faster and easier during those short weekday evenings. Along with these tips, I'll share a quick recipe for chicken and veggie soup. This recipe is super simple. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Before we get into the recipe itself, let's talk preparation. My first tip is to clear space and make space. It can be super frustrating to try and prep food in a cluttered kitchen and then not have the fridge or freezer space to store it when you're done. Take a few minutes to organize so that you have plenty of room to spread out. If you have a small kitchen, consider a nearby space you can leverage while you're cooking. Then make sure you have plenty of space to store leftovers and future meals in your fridge and freezer. A bonus tip here, as you're making room in your fridge, take inventory of what you have as potential soup ingredients. This doesn't need to be anything fancy. A quick mental note is totally fine. My next prep tip is to ensure you have freezer-safe containers. Glass is typically the best choice for health and sustainability purposes, but there are plenty of freezer-safe plastics as well. If you're tight on freezer space, or if you don't have glass storage containers, you could use freezer storage bags. Again, it's best to avoid plastics if you can. There are silicone freezer bags that could work really well in this case. Next, give yourself a day when you have plenty of time. When I think about coziness in the winter months, one thing that doesn't come to mind is stress. Make this an enjoyable experience by giving yourself plenty of time. Cold, rainy Saturdays are great for this. Okay, so there are some tips for prepping your environment. Now let's talk recipe prep. As with any meal planning or cook prep, you want to make sure you have all of your ingredients. That's where that mental inventory tip from earlier can help you. My tip here is to use what you have on hand, especially any veggies that may be on the doorstep of the compost pile. This is a great opportunity to avoid unnecessary spending and prevent food waste. The great thing about soup is that you can include pretty much any combination of things that suit your tastes. I love this because I can be a picky eater sometimes. So today I'm going to share some of my favorite ingredients for a chicken and veggie soup, but I encourage you to get creative and put your own spin on it. Today I'll be using 6 cups of low sodium chicken broth, which is the base of my soup, 1 medium onion, chopped how you like, about 1 cup of sliced carrots, which is about 4 to 5 carrots. Typically, this is where most people would also include celery. I'm not a fan, so we're skipping celery. Instead, I'm going to use 8 ounces of sliced mushrooms. This might seem weird for a lot of you, but I like mushrooms a lot, so I'm rolling with it. Next, we have 1 large potato, which I've chopped up. I like Idaho russet potatoes, but any potato will do. 2 chicken breasts, which I've pre-cooked using an Instant Pot and then shredded. I like prepping chicken and other meats in the Instant Pot because I can cook a lot at once without a lot of work. Choose whatever protein you'd like for your soup and cook it up to suit your tastes. Next, I have a mix of 1 tablespoon of Mrs. Dash Original Seasoning Blend and a pinch of sea salt. I like Mrs. Dash because the salt-free blends give you more control over the amount of sodium, but I also like the pre-blended seasonings because it's much easier than rounding up a bunch of different herbs and spices. Finally, about 2 tablespoons of olive oil to saute the veggies. With these ingredients in mind, there are 2 things I want to point out here. First, I'm using all fresh ingredients, but you could also sub in frozen veggie mixes. I'm a big fan of frozen veggies. They can be really versatile in meals and they last longer, meaning less food waste. If you choose to go the frozen veggie route, there's no need to thaw them out first. Second, I'm keeping my ingredient list simple. You can include as much or as little as you want. I personally find that fewer ingredients works best for me. It prevents me from getting overwhelmed, especially if I'm trying something new. Now, let's make some soup. First, get your pot warming up over medium heat. Then I'll add my 2 tablespoons of olive oil to the pot. When it's warmed up, I'll saute the onions for about 5 minutes or until they turn translucent. Then I'll toss in my veggies and about a quarter of my seasonings and saute them for a few minutes until they cook down and get soft. Now that my veggies are ready, I'm going to add my chicken broth, shredded chicken, and the rest of my seasonings. Because the chicken broth can still be pretty salty, I'm adding some water to this in a 2-to-1 ratio with 2 parts broth to 1 part water. The broth is already low sodium, but I tend to be more conservative with salt. You can always add more, but if you overdo it from the get-go, it's not like you can take it out. You can always add more water, but you dilute other flavors along with the salt. Fun fact, if you get your broth too salty, you can add a few more diced potatoes. Potatoes will absorb the salt and help neutralize the flavor. Once everything is combined and stirred together, I'm going to leave it to simmer for about an hour or 2. I'll do a flavor test about halfway through and add additional seasonings if needed. Now that it's ready to go, dish up whatever you're going to eat right away and let the rest cool. Oh man, that is so good. Once the soup is cooled, divvy it up into your freezer-safe containers, either for individual meals or a bigger container for a family soup night. Okay, for a recap, here are the tips I shared with you today. Clear space and make space, both in your kitchen and in your fridge and freezer. Ensure you have freezer-safe containers, particularly glass containers or silicone bags if they're accessible to you. Give yourself plenty of time. Use ingredients that you already have on hand. Don't be afraid to use frozen veggies. And remember to add potatoes if you oversalt the broth to help neutralize the flavor. Finally, be creative and have fun. Yes, you're prepping food which serves a practical purpose, but this is also a great opportunity to try new things, have fun, and use what you have on hand. I hope you enjoy your soup. On behalf of PacificSource, thanks for joining me in the kitchen today, and be well.